Hello and welcome to Saints Live. I'm Steve Forbes.
And I'm Kenzie Benali.
And the international break is over, so it's a return to Premier League action. Yes. There's just 6 weeks to go until the World Cup. A busy 6 weeks, Kenzie.
Yes, indeed.
And in October alone, Southampton have 6 games starting today here at St Mary's as Everton are the visitors. Now, not only that, this is the first time ever, I believe, that we have 2 former Southampton captains joining us on Saints Live in the form of Dean Hammond and Klaus Lundekvam.
Oh, it's so nice to see you both. Klaus, it's been some time since we've had you on the show. How have you been?
I've been very well, thank you, Kenzie. I'm joining you from sunny Gran Canaria today, so life is good. I'm working on a very exciting project down here. Now everything's good. Obviously still following my beloved Southampton as much as I can. So, really looking forward to exciting game today.
Oh, as are we. It's a real joy to have you on the show, Klaus, and lovely you're joining from somewhere significantly warmer than here, I imagine. Dean, how are you? Lovely to have you back as always.
I'm very well, Kenzie. Thank you very much. Not quite in Gran Canaria, but I'm very, very well. And looking forward to the game today. Glad the football's returning. Doesn't quite seem the same without the football. So, looking forward to the game.
As are we. It's great to be back here in St Mary's. Now, also remember to get your comments into us on Saints Live. You can do that however you're watching, whether that's via Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, and we'll try to get as many out as we can. Now, we will be having the team news in literally seconds, and it could be quite surprising this afternoon, Kenzie. Here it is. Here is the team sheet to face Everton today. Our starting lineup, we have a plethora of debutants and changes to the squad. Gavin Bazunu does keep his place in goal. Also, Carl Walker-Peters at fullback too. There is a full debut for Shaletta Sarr at centre-back. He'll partner Armel Bella Kotchap. Juan Larios also makes his Southampton full debut as well, as does Ainsley Maitland-Niles. In the middle of the park, it seems, alongside our captain, James Ward-Prowse. Joe Aribo, Stuart Armstrong, Sekou Mara and Shay Adams make up the rest of the starting 11 for Southampton. And on the subs bench, we have Alex McCarthy, Salisu, Roman Perro, Diallo, Musa Gineppo, Moy Elianusi, Theo Walcott, Sam Adozi and Adam Armstrong. So loads of changes there. Klaus, this is your first time on Saints Live in a little while, so we'll come to you first. What do you make of the team?
Well, it's very, very interesting. I've never known Ralph doing so many changes for a Premier League game. So I think me and Dean has counted 6 changes from the Villa game. It's quite astonishing. So how they're going to line up, I'm not sure, but on paper it's a strong team. It's like you said, a few debutants. It's a few strong names that the club has obviously who's come in the window. It's offensively it looks pretty good. It might be a sort of a result of the Villa game, desperate times of making so many changes, but it's. In my head, it looks strong on paper.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, Dean, should we get your thoughts on that starting 11 taking on Everton today?
I agree with Klaus. It's a little surprising, but also not surprising because I think we'd all agree that the performance against Aston Villa was below par, considering the performances the team have put in this season. So changes were probably expected. Didn't expect 6, I must admit. But an attacking team, a team that's got lots of energy, lots of pace. There's a threat in there, which is good because obviously the team hasn't scored for 2 games now. I think the manager's still trying to find the right blend and the right balance to win games, to be able to score goals, but obviously keep that security at the back and looking for that first clean sheet of the season. And I think if I look at it and I look at the personnel within the team, I think maybe he's gone back to the 4-2-2-2 system with Mara and Shay Adams up front. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to those 2 playing together because I think they could be really, really effective and cause Everton some problems today. So it will be interesting to see how the lineup is, what the game plan is, what the mentality is. But I expect a lot of high energy pressing Everton, trying to win the ball back early, and lots of endeavour and creativity there. And Stuart Armstrong coming back into the team, I think, is a real bonus. I've been calling for that for a couple of weeks now, and I think he's ready. He brings something different to the team, and with the attacking players on the pitch, with his creativity, I'm hoping for a few Southampton goals today.
Yeah, it's certainly an exciting and interesting team, isn't it? But before we look forward to our clash with the Toffees once more, we should rewind the clock back. Talk about the international break, Steve.
Indeed.
And one man we need to talk about is Armel Bella-Kotchap. Of course, he made his debut for Germany against England in that international break. And Ralph Hasenhüttl was asked about him in his press conference.
Armel Bella-Kotchap, great for him to go away with Germany. Have you seen spring his step from doing that? Is there any sort of difference?
We had only one session today, so I cannot see that he suddenly scores, I don't know, many goals or whatever. But it's also not necessary. I think we know what we have with him, and we know how good he has done his job in the first 6 games, and now he has a chance, to go and make the next steps in his career. And I think it was a very good start for him here in this club. And now coming the games where he has to show that he wants to go to the World Cup, and I think he has all the chances to do this.
Are you surprised that the call came so quickly for him?
Not really. I know that they had watched him, and I mean, when you see him playing against Chelsea, and it was definitely a very good game there, then you know what you get. And there are not so many centre backs in the league. They are so dominant in the duels, in the defense duels, and you as soon as you perform good in the best league in the world, I think you have a lot of arguments on your side.
Now, Dean, it may only have been just a few minutes off the bench for Bella-Kotchap for Germany, but what it does show is a huge recognition of the season he's having at Southampton so far.
He does, Steve. He's been fantastic. He really, really has. Since he's come into the club, he's had a brilliant start to the season. He's built up a really good partnership with Salisu. I think those two have really complemented each other. He's very, very powerful. He's quick. He looks experienced beyond his years. He looks like, and I understand he's a player that's looking to improve all the time, and willing to improve, which is great. You know, and him making his international debut is fantastic for him. You know, he'll be surrounded by world-class players that he'll be able to train with, he'll be able to watch, he'll be able to learn off, he'll be able to play with. And it's been brilliant for him. He's been fantastic. He really has. He's adapted so well. And I really like it. He looks like he's a winner. He has everything. He really, really does. And he has huge potential. And I think the players really, really like him. But you look at some of the highlights here, the timing of his tackles is fantastic. His awareness in defending, he's not rash. He doesn't rely on that power and pace. He looks like he's quite an intelligent defender. So full credit to him. And it's been absolutely brilliant. And he's probably been the standout player for Southampton this season. And I'm sure he'll continue to improve. But like younger players, I'm sure he'll have dips, there'll be ups and downs. But he has had a fantastic start, and credit to the club because, again, brilliant recruitment behind the scenes. You know, they found a player that's a gem, still young, loads of potential, room to grow, but he's been absolutely brilliant so far this season. So well done to him.
Another player I'd love to get your thoughts on is our captain, James Ward-Prowse. He, of course, got the call up but didn't make it on the pitch for either of England's 2 matches. Is it a positive that he's at least in the picture and in Gareth Southgate's mind ahead of the World Cup, or do you think it will just be a feeling of frustration for him that he wasn't involved?
Well, I think Gareth Southgate, England manager, knows really well what James Ward-Prowse is all about. He knows his qualities, his attributes. He's sort of free kick. Obviously, his security in the sitting midfield role. He knows him really well. He's played him there quite a few times for England. He's performed. I think even not getting on the pitch this time around for the international games. I would have think that James is pretty happy, even though he always, when you go away on international duties, you want to play, you want to be involved with your national side and be part of it. But I think in the bigger picture, I think Prowse is quite happy with the international situation that he's in, and I think, like we said, the England manager knows what Prowse is all about, and that's top quality.
Now, what we wanted to ask both of you was what characteristics makes a good captain. As I said at the top of the show, we're blessed to have two former Southampton captains with us today. So, Dean, let's come to you first here. In your opinion, what does it take to be a captain here at St Mary's?
Well, I think lots of things, Steve, and different. I think it's different things for each captain, each individual. But for me personally, I think it was always trying to lead by example, always trying to set the tone, set the standard, whether that's around the training ground or whether that's in matches. You have to be selfless, if I'm honest. You should put the team first, be very committed to the team. That desire to win is really, really important as well. I think you need to have an honesty about you to encourage others to be open within the dressing room, on the pitch. If something needs to be said, you want to be able to encourage that from players around you. I think that's how you improve and how you have success as a team. Your teammates to trust you as well, because you are that link between the manager and the group of players, really. So there definitely needs to be that trust, but also to try and improve players around you. I think that was always something I looked to do, whether that was in training, like I say, leading by example, whether that was younger players, whether that was trying to lead on the pitch, or it was a quiet word with someone. I think that's really, really important, and probably doing more than is expected of you, but also understanding your role within the team and accepting that as well. I think that was always important to me, to understand who I was and not try to be something different, and understand that brought value to the team as well. But I think the biggest attribute is leading by example and being unselfish, really, and putting the team first. I think that is a huge characteristic for a team, for a captain, and that's what I try to do.
Well, from one captain to another, Klaus, what do you think are the key characteristics for a great captain?
Well, it's very much said by Dean. Obviously, lead by example is something that is very fundamental to be a good captain, to lead the way. I was never a loud captain. I was never a captain that was shouting or sort of giving loud instructions. But I think on the human side of things, I was looking after players. I sensed what players needed. I sort of, because in the circus we're in, there's so much pressure day and night, 24 hours a day to perform, and being a young player coming into a squad and sort of looking after those and tell them with an arm around the shoulder that you're good enough. A simple words is tell them that qualities to embrace that and believe in themselves is something very, very important as a captain. But I think Dean mentioned many of the sort of ground rules of being a captain, but we're all individuals. And I think, like Dean said, be yourself, be wholehearted yourself. When I watched this clip yesterday, when you sent it to me, it made me really emotional of my sort of time at Southampton and what I've achieved as a captain and a club player for my beloved club. And it's all about contribute with your sort of yourself and what you're all about, and lead by example, like Dean said, is very, very important. So and guide players with your thoughts on how we can improve as a team.
Many Southampton players of the past will have felt very lucky to have been led by either one of you. But I just wanted to switch the focus briefly to today's opponents, Everton. The game last season was a 2-0 win, relatively comfortable. Dean, what do you remember of it?
Well, just that, Steve, to be honest. I think it was a comfortable victory. I think I was actually, if I remember the game, a little bit disappointed in Everton. They were struggling at the time. But Southampton were very, very comfortable, pretty even for a period of time. Not too many chances within the game, but I remember a good goal from Stuart Armstrong, Shane Long coming off the bench and scoring a goal, an interesting miss from Elanusi. But at this time of the season, Southampton in a real purple patch, performing very, very well, picking up really good results. I think it was around the time we'd beaten Tottenham 3-2 away from home, which was one of the best results and performances of the season. We're just seeing Stuart Armstrong's goal there. I think it was his first of the season, which is surprising for a player of his quality, but a fantastic finish using the inside of his foot, not trying to that he thinks is going to contact him in the face. But I think this period of the season, Southampton were very, very confident, believed that they could beat anyone, were flying high in the league. And I remember that moment as well when Shane Long came on. I think we were actually at the game. I think we did Saints Live for this. So the noise when Shane scored was brilliant. And the congratulations and the respect he got from the crowd was fantastic, because he'd been a brilliant servant to the football club, and he does a lot of unselfish stuff, and it was great to see him score. So a comfortable win for Southampton on the day, and very enjoyable show, if I can remember rightly.
Let's hope for much of the same today. We're just going to get some comments now from you guys watching at home to see what you have to say on our comment section today through social media. Kevin Payne has got in on Facebook and said, some debuts today, a bit unlike Ralph to change it up so much, but he's excited for the game. Rosemary Rickett on YouTube has said it's a strong team lineup. Get in there, Saints. Put Pickford under plenty of pressure today. Fingers crossed. And a great win. We also have Jocelyn saying up the Saints. Carl Bridge has said he looks forward to seeing Mara in action today. Start strong and we can win this one. And Phil Palmer also says he's very pleased to be seeing Mara starting. Let's see what he can do in 90. And also loads of love for Bella Kotchap. Visnu has said he's transformed our defence.
Always great to hear from the fans. Thanks for your comments, and do make sure you keep those coming into us until the end of the show. But for now, it is time for Wheel of Goals. If you've watched the show previously, you should know all about this one. It is where we look back on previous goals that we've scored against Everton over the years. Of course, Everton being the opponents today. And we're going to kick off with a good one, Steve.
Yes, we are. I'm not on that section yet, Kenzie, to introduce it. So
I'm way ahead of you.
If I can let you take that one, it'd be great while I switch over again.
I will indeed. Well, let's start with two goals, actually, not the one. Two from Marion Pahars. This kept Southampton in the Premier League in 1999. So, Klaus, I imagine you will remember this game very well. You must have fond memories of this day.
Oh, absolutely. It was the Latvian Michael Owen. It was... Marion Pahars, when he came to Southampton, he was just a revelation of a player. He was so clever. He was so quick. He was so, as a defender, obviously, I was up against him in training every day. He was such a good player. Underrated for just a shame that he got so many injuries that he did. But for us, for 2 seasons, he was he was just blowing everything away. So I remember this game really well, and obviously James Speeting having 2 assists in the game, on fire at the time, and those two as a partnership for Southampton here at the Dell was just bringing some unbelievable memories coming back.
Right, let's spin that wheel again and see who we get now.
Oh,
still spinning.
Always makes me a bit nervous, this bit.
Who's it going to land on? Here we go. Right, we've got Stephen Davis all the way back in 2017. Dean, a fantastic servant for the club.
He was. Steve was brilliant. 7 years at the club, over 200 appearances, and And Steve actually came in the year I left the club, so got to know him a little bit. Really nice guy, technically gifted player, really, really good. And he was brilliant for us when he first came in because he had that Premier League experience. I think he'd signed from Rangers, but he brought that calmness in possession of the football, which you need at the highest level, which you need in the Premier League. And he made an instant difference to training, to games. Scored on his debut, I think, against Man City as well. But you can see from the goal here, you know, the first touch, the awareness. Brilliant midfield player that could play anywhere in midfield, whether that was wide, whether that was centrally, whether a deep line midfield player to keep possession of the ball, to break play up, or as a number 10 to be very, very creative. So a brilliant signing for the football club. He's had a fantastic career, you know, a brilliant international career, played for some big clubs. But it was just technically, he was very, very good. When he first came into the club, you could see his quality straight away, which you do with any high class player. But the thing that stood out for me was he always seemed to have time on the ball. Very, very intelligent footballer, and he was really, really calm in possession. Never looked like he was under pressure. So a brilliant servant for playing in some memorable games for the club, and that was just one of many goals that he scored for Southampton.
Yeah, what a wonderful career, and a lovely man as well to boot. Right, let's spin that wheel one more time, shall we? Let's keep on going and find out who it's going to land on next. Here we go. All right, slowing down. What's it going to be? Who's going to be next? Oh, Steve. All right, here we go. Ding, ding, ding. It was a close one, but this is a good one. Fabrice Fernandes in the last minute to earn a 3-3 draw against Everton back in 2004. I mean, Klaus, what a goal, and a bit of drama as well.
Unbelievable drama, I can see. It was one of probably the last great escape. And again, Fabrice Fernandes, a very, very underrated player. He was so tricky. He was so technical. He was lazy, yes, but he was very, very intelligent as a footballer. And the goal he scored here against Everton at the time was just sublime. He had that quality about him, and we saw that in training every day. And Fabrice was one of the best players we had that season. So, yeah, unbelievable memories to look back.
Right, good stuff. Well, let's get another spin on our wheel of goals this afternoon. Let's do it.
We've had some good ones so far.
We have.
I reckon we've still got some good ones to come though.
Right, here we go. It's landed on Lucas Digne from 2019. A bit of an unusual one here in a 2-1 win. Dean, what was going on?
It's a strange goal, like you say, Steve. It's actually really good build-up play from Southampton. That pass from James Ward-Prowse into Danny Ings, I believe it is. His awareness is good. That run from Nathan Redmond. Nathan Redmond's just caught a little bit unaware, and he's trying to get it back onto his right foot to get a striker goal. And Lucas Digne, you know, he comes in, and I think it's almost a bit of a lazy tackle. He's very, very comfortable, thinking, I'm just going to steal the ball off him, but gets too big a contact on it and obviously puts it in his own net. And Lucas Digne has not always had the best times against Southampton. I think a couple of years ago he got sent off as well at St Mary's. So, yeah, it's an interesting goal, but a bit of a freak goal. You don't see him too often, but I think it was just lazy defending. I thought he was just too comfortable in that decision, thinking I'll just take this ball off Nathan Redmond, and to Nathan Redmond's surprise, ended up on the floor but ended up getting a goal, and looked very happy in his celebration. So we'll take one of those today. I must admit, early on would be very, very nice. Set Southampton up for a 3 points would be lovely.
That would be really lovely, wouldn't it? We certainly would take that, Dean. Well, let's spin that wheel, shall we, for the final time today. Here we go, Steve. Let's give it a big one and hope for a big finale. Here we go.
Let's.
Just slowing down now. All right, there we go then. It's another own goal. This time, Seamus Coleman, Klaus. This one was back in 2014. Talk us through this.
Well, it's I can feel about obviously scoring an own goal. I'm on a very exclusive list in the Premier League, scoring more own goals than I've scored in the right direction. 4 against 2. So Seamus Coleman is again, it's a cross that you can't really see where it's coming in and sort of direction, and you just sort of try to obviously head it away, and those mistakes happen as a defender. You can't really help it, and it's just unfortunate for Seamus Coleman at the time, but it happens, and for us, fantastic.
Well, Klaus, we weren't going to revisit any of your own goals, but seeing as though you brought it up, I think perhaps because we've done some digging in the archive.
So there's not a huge threat. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Southampton win today, which I think there'll be a brilliant atmosphere at St Mary's if the team can play with that intensity and that desire they did against Chelsea and put in a similar performance. Then it will be a good day for Southampton.
Definitely would be. And Klaus, Everton, a much improved team from last year, but can be got at. What are your thoughts ahead of the match, and obviously your score prediction too?
Well, I think Everton is in the same sort of situation as we are today, going into the game. Not fulfill their potential where we are at the moment. I think for the Southampton perspective, like Dean is saying, we got a very young, energetic, offensive team on the pitch today. I think if we can start the game well with the high pressure and how Ralph likes to play, I think we're in for a good afternoon.
Well, let's certainly hope so. Klaus, Dean, such a pleasure to have you both with us. I feel quite privileged to be in the company of two former Southampton captains. What a show.
Fantastic.
But of course it doesn't end here. We've got a match to look forward to. Southampton taking on Everton here at St Mary's, and the four of us will be back with you after the final whistle as well. So do make sure you join us then as we talk through all of the major talking points from the game. We'll see you then.
See you soon.